December 23, 11:58 p.m. In cybersecurity circles, there's a legend that sounds too perfect to be true. Every year, on the same night, at the exact same time, a hacker appears. They breach one target, execute one operation, leave one message, and then they vanish for exactly 365 days. No trace, no pattern to their targets, no demands, no explanation. Just precision, and snow. Because every attack happens during a snowstorm. The FBI has a file on them, Interpol has a task force, the NSA has dedicated an entire division to predicting where they'll strike next. In 12 years, they've never come close. The hacker's signature. A single image embedded in every breach, a photograph of falling snow, pristine and untouched. Digital, perfect, impossible to trace. And beneath it, always the same message. Some things only exist in winter. Some truths only appear in the cold. They call this hacker the ghost in the snow. And tonight, after 364 days of silence, they're about to appear again. But this year will be different. Because tonight, someone is finally going to find out who they are. And why they only strike once a year. And the answer will change everything we think we know about justice in the digital age. The first attack happened on December 23, 2012. A pharmaceutical company called Meridian Health. They'd been secretly suppressing data about a drug's side effects, neurological damage in children. The FDA was investigating, but the evidence was buried in encrypted servers. At 11:58 p.m., during a blizzard in Chicago, someone breached their system. Not to steal, not to ransom. To release. Every email, every suppressed study, every internal memo about covering it up. Released to the press, medical journals, and regulatory agencies simultaneously. By morning, Meridian Health stock had collapsed. By the end of the month, executives were facing criminal charges. And on every computer in their network, that image, falling snow. And the message about winter and truth. The FBI thought it was a one-time whistleblower. Until December 23, 2013, same time, different target. A defense contractor selling faulty body armor to the military, armor they knew would fail under combat conditions. The ghost exposed everything. 2014, a private prison company falsifying rehabilitation records to keep inmates longer and maximize profit. 2015, a real estate firm buying up foreclosed homes, then bribing officials to condemn entire neighborhoods to force people out. Year after year. Always December 23 at 11:58 p.m., always during snowfall, always exposing something hidden. The ghost never stole money, never caused physical harm. Never targeted individuals, only institutions covering up harm they'd caused to others. They became a legend. By 2020, the ghost in the snow was the FBI's most wanted cybercriminal. Not because of damage, they'd never caused financial loss beyond what their targets deserved. But because they were untouchable. Forensic analysis showed sophisticated tradecraft, military-grade encryption, zero digital footprint. They used different methods every year, adapting to new security measures before they were even implemented. And the snow? It wasn't just symbolic. Every attack coincided with actual weather events. The ghost somehow predicted, or caused, their operations to align with snowstorms in their targets' locations. Investigators found that impossible to believe. Until they started noticing the storms themselves were unusual, too localized, too precisely timed. As if someone was watching weather patterns with capabilities beyond civilian meteorology. December 23, 2024, 9:37 p.m. At the headquarters of Synthera Global, a massive tech conglomerate specializing in AI-driven surveillance systems, Director of Security David Morrison was preparing for war. For 6 months, his team had been tracking patterns in the Ghost's previous attacks. They'd built predictive models, analyzed meteorological data, identified that Synthera fit every profile marker. AI surveillance company, recent scandals, December approaching. And 3 days ago, weather satellites detected an unusual low-pressure system forming over their Seattle headquarters. Snow was coming. Morrison had transformed Synthera's network into a fortress, air-gapped critical servers. Deployed honeypots and tripwires across every entry point, brought in consultants from the NSA. His screens showed real-time monitoring of 47 different security layers. Everything was green. At 10:15 p.m., the first snowflakes began to fall. 11:58 p.m. David Morrison's coffee had gone cold 2 hours ago. On his screens, every security layer showed green, the network was locked down tighter than Fort Knox. Outside, snow fell heavily now, the storm had intensified faster than predicted. 11:59 p.m. Nothing. Morrison allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. Maybe the Ghost had tried and failed, maybe their legend would end tonight with a whimper. 12 a.m., December 24th. His screens flickered, just once, barely noticeable. And then chaos. Not from outside. From inside. The Ghost wasn't breaching the network, they were already in it, had been for weeks. Not in the servers Morrison was protecting, in something much older, much more neglected. The building's environmental control system. Installed in 2008, running on outdated firmware, connected to the network for remote management but considered too insignificant to be a threat. The Ghost had turned the HVAC system into a bridge. Through temperature sensors and ventilation controls, they'd mapped the entire internal network, identified the air-gapped servers by their heat signatures, found Sophia's deleted evidence in backup systems that were supposed to be isolated. Within 90 seconds, data was moving. Not out through the internet, that would be detected. Through electromagnetic emissions. The Ghost had reprogrammed the environmental sensors to emit radio frequencies that encoded data, invisible, undetectable by conventional security. And outside, a modified weather balloon, released hours earlier, disguised as atmospheric research equipment, was receiving the transmission. At 12:04 a.m., David Morrison finally understood what was happening. By then, it was far too late. Every piece of evidence about the backdoor, every sales record, every compromised camera feed, every executive email discussing the surveillance scheme. Uploading to a dozen news outlets, civil liberties organizations, and regulatory agencies simultaneously. Morrison watched his career end in real time. And on every screen in his security center, that image appeared. Falling snow, perfect and pristine. Some things only exist in winter, some truths only appear in the cold. But something was different this year. The Ghost had left something else, something they'd never done before. A second message, encrypted, addressed specifically to Sophia Martinez. She stared at her screen in her darkened office as text appeared. I know you tried to expose them, I know they threatened you, I know you're afraid. But you need to understand something. This isn't the first time we've met. Sophia's hands trembled on her keyboard. The message continued. Do you remember February 2019? You were working at Davidson Analytics, you found irregularities in their client billing, you reported it to your supervisor. She did remember, she'd been fired 3 weeks later, blacklisted from the industry for 18 months. You tried to do the right thing, the system punished you for it. I've been watching, not just Cynthia, but you. People like you, whistleblowers who get silenced, truth-tellers who get destroyed. Every company I've exposed. Someone like you tried to stop them first, someone who got crushed for trying. Sophia's mind raced back through the news stories. Meridian Health, 2012, there had been a chemist who'd tried to report the drug side effects. She'd been fired and sued into bankruptcy. The defense contractor, 2013, an engineer had flagged the armor defects. He died in a suspicious car accident before he could testify. Year after year, every target the ghost chose, there was always someone who tried to expose them first, someone who'd been silenced. The ghost wasn't just exposing corruption. They were completing the work of whistleblowers who'd been destroyed for trying. I can't give you back what they took from you, the message continued, but I can make sure what you found doesn't stay buried. And I can tell you why I only appear once a year. Because that's how long it takes. Sophia read the next lines with growing disbelief. The ghost in the snow wasn't a single hacker working alone. They were a network, a rotating group of former whistleblowers, disgraced analysts, fired investigators, people who tried to expose corruption through legal channels and been destroyed for it. Each year, one person from the network planned and executed an operation, spent 365 days preparing, made it perfect, made it untraceable. And then passed the responsibility to the next person. A different ghost every year, same mission, same signature. Same commitment to the truth that cost them everything. The message ended with an offer. This year's operation is complete, Cynthia's crimes are public, your evidence will be vindicated. But next year, there will be another company, another crime, another person who tried and failed to expose it. I'm offering you the chance to be next year's ghost. 365 days to investigate, to prepare, to choose a target that matters. One night to execute, one operation to expose what needs exposing. And then you pass it on to someone else who deserves the chance to fight back. This is what the ghost in the snow really is, not a person, not even a group, it's a promise. That someone will always be watching, that truth will always have a voice, that the powerful can't silence everyone. You don't have to answer now, but know this, you've already proven you're willing to risk everything for what's right. The question is whether you're willing to do it again, with the tools and knowledge to actually succeed. Sophia sat in darkness as snow continued to fall outside. She thought about the last 5 years, the career opportunities she'd lost, the friends who'd stopped calling, the constant fear of legal retaliation. She thought about the evidence she'd gathered on Cynthia, how she'd felt watching it get deleted, knowing the truth would stay buried. And she thought about something else. 2 months ago, she'd received a LinkedIn message from a woman she didn't know, someone who'd worked at Meridian Health in 2012, who'd tried to expose the drug cover-up and been ruined for it. The message had been brief. I don't know how, but someone finished what I started, thank you for trying too, it matters, even when it doesn't work. Sophia had cried reading that message. Because she'd felt so alone, so defeated. But she hadn't been alone. Someone had been watching, someone who understood, someone who turned her failure into eventual justice. At 12:47 a.m., as news alerts began flooding in about Cynthia's exposure, Sophia made her decision. She didn't type a response. She didn't need to. Because the ghost had left her something else, a secure communication protocol, a library of tools and techniques, a list of previous targets and the patterns they'd identified. And a file marked Candidate Targets 2025, Preliminary Research. Sophia opened it. 17 companies, 17 suspected cover-ups, 17 potential operations. She had 365 days to choose one, to investigate, to prepare. to become next year's ghost in the snow. By morning on December 24th, the Synthera scandal dominated every news cycle. Federal investigators raided headquarters, the stock price collapsed, executives were arrested trying to board private planes. The backdoor was confirmed, the illegal surveillance documented, the sales to foreign governments verified. Within a week, Synthera Global would file for bankruptcy. Within a month, new legislation would be introduced to regulate AI surveillance systems. Within a year, 3 former executives would be serving prison sentences. Sophia watched it unfold from her apartment. She'd received a severance package, generous, surprisingly, and a letter from Synthera's legal department saying her employment termination had been reconsidered and she was eligible for rehiring with back pay. She declined. She had other plans now. David Morrison spent Christmas morning being debriefed by federal agents. He explained the environmental control system breach, the electromagnetic transmission, the weather balloon. The FBI analyzed everything. And found nothing. The balloon had self-destructed at high altitude, the HVAC modifications had been remotely erased, the evidence had been distributed through such a complex network of automated systems that tracing it back to a source was impossible. Just like every other year. But something bothered the lead investigator, Agent Rachel Park, the same cryptographer who'd worked the Silent Night case 11 months earlier. She'd been tracking the ghost for 3 years now, and she'd noticed something others had missed. The technical sophistication varied year to year, different coding styles, different approaches, different levels of expertise. As if different people were behind each attack. When she suggested this to her superiors, they dismissed it. One hacker who adapts their methods, they said. But Rachel knew better. She'd seen this before, in hacktivist groups, in whistleblower networks. The ghost in the snow wasn't one person. It was a legacy, passed from hand to hand, year to year. And that made them infinitely more dangerous. Because you can't stop an idea. You can't arrest a promise. You can't prevent something that exists in the determination of people who've already lost everything and decided to fight back. December 23, 2025, 8:43 p.m. Sophia Martinez sat in a coffee shop in Portland, watching snow begin to fall. Her laptop displayed 17 months of research, thousands of hours of investigation, digital forensics that would make professional analysts jealous. She'd chosen her target in March, a medical insurance company that had been systematically denying cancer treatment claims to increase profits. The CEO had known, the board had known. And when an actuary had tried to expose it, she'd been fired and discredited. Sophia had found her, had learned her story, had promised her that the truth wouldn't stay buried. Now, the actuary sat 3 tables away, didn't know Sophia, didn't know what was about to happen. But in 4 hours, she would. Sophia had spent the year learning, the previous ghosts had left her training materials. Encryption techniques, social engineering strategies, how to map corporate networks without leaving traces. She'd identified the insurance company's vulnerability, not in their IT systems, they'd learned from Synthera, but in their third-party billing software. Outsourced to a smaller company with weaker security, connected to the main network for claims processing. A bridge, just like the HVAC system. She'd already planted the access tools, weeks ago, dormant, invisible. Tonight, they'd activate. And by morning, every denied claim would be public, every internal email discussing profit optimization through denial would be exposed, every death that could have been prevented would be documented. Sophia's hands shook slightly as she checked her watch. 11:42 p.m. She thought about the risk, the possibility of getting caught, of losing everything all over again. But then she thought about the actuary sitting nearby, about the chemist from Meridian Health. About every whistleblower who tried and failed. About the message the ghost had sent her last year. Someone will always be watching, truth will always have a voice. She opened her laptop. Started the final pre-operation checklist. Outside, snow fell more heavily now. Perfect. Pristine. Untouched. Just like it should be. 11:58 p.m. Sophia's fingers moved across the keyboard. The access tools activated, the billing software bridge opened, data began to flow. She'd learned from the previous ghosts, this wasn't brute force. It was elegance, surgical precision. Every denied claim, every profit report, every email where executives celebrated cost savings from letting people die. Uploading to news outlets, medical advocacy groups, state attorneys general, congressional oversight committees. 12:04 a.m., December 24th. Complete. Sophia closed her laptop. Across the coffee shop, the actuary's phone buzzed, a news alert. Her eyes widened as she read. Sophia watched her expression change, confusion, then recognition, then tears. The actuary looked up, scanning the coffee shop as if wondering whether someone here knew. Whether someone had heard her story. Sophia met her eyes for just a moment. Then looked away. Left money on the table. Walked out into the snow. By morning, the insurance company's crimes would be undeniable. And on every computer in their network, that image would appear. Falling snow, perfect and pristine. Some things only exist in winter, some truths only appear in the cold. But this year, there was something else. A second message, encrypted, addressed to a specific person. Someone who tried to expose fraud at a construction company, someone who'd been blacklisted and destroyed. Someone who would spend the next 365 days preparing to become next year's ghost. The legacy continued. The ghost in the snow remains unidentified. The FBI's task force continues its investigation. Every year, they come close. And every year, they fail. Because they're hunting one person. When the truth is so much more powerful than that. The ghost in the snow is every person who tried to do the right thing and got destroyed for it. Every whistleblower who was silenced. Every truth teller who lost everything. They don't disappear, they don't give up. They just wait for winter. For snow to fall. For their moment to turn failure into justice. And somewhere tonight, someone is researching. Planning. Preparing to become next year's ghost. The powerful think they can silence anyone. They're right. But they can't silence everyone. Not when truth has a legacy. Not when justice has a season. The ghost in the snow will appear again in exactly 365 days. In a different city, with a different target, exposing a different crime. But the same promise will remain. Some things only exist in winter. Some truths only appear in the cold. And some ghosts never rest until the world is forced to see what it tried to bury. Sleep well. But if you're hiding something, start watching the weather.
If you enjoyed this story and want to see more mysterious, emotional, and thought-provoking tales, don't forget to like, share, and comment below. What would you have done? Accepted the offer? Or consider the risk? Your engagement helps us keep creating powerful stories that question the line between humanity and technology. Let us know which twist shocked you the most and subscribe for more cyber thrillers. Until next time, stay curious, stay unseen.